Some of you might know Marshall as a company that used to sell amps. And, well, they still do. And actually, my first guitar that I never really learned how to play properly was powered by a Marshall amp. But they've actually been developing other equipment over the years. And now they're releasing equipment for your living room. Specifically TV soundbars as well as subwoofers for said soundbars. In this release, we have two soundbars as well as a subwoofer. This is one of the larger soundbars, which is the Heston 120. There's also a version 60 and the subwoofer, which is the version 200. Let's open up and see what we got inside the box. I feel we have a bit of a boxception here. I hope I can lift it. It's really heavy. I'll give them that. They've got a nice bit of packing for this. This is a nice box. Ooh. It was a nice box. I think I just need to open it from the side. Cables. I'll unpack this straight away. The Marshall logo even on the packing. It feels like the packing material is made in such a way that you can actually repack it somewhat nicely without destroying it. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Right, that's the soundbar out. Inside the box we also got a HDMI cable, we have European plug, as well as the UK/Singapore plug. And we have some documentation. Soundbar itself looks kind of funky. It has this leather looking trim all around, and top cover looks like a weave. To me, it's a little bit reminiscent of an older guitar amp, but also because of the weave, it makes it look like a deck chair. So I'm not sure, I'm a bit conflicted on how I feel about this. But also, one of the things I noticed immediately is, because it's got this textured feeling, this will attract cat hair like crazy. So we're definitely going to check it out, because I know that Nano is definitely going to sit on it and see how much hair we actually have left over after a few sessions. On top, we have some controls. So we have 3 dials, which is sound, which is the volume, the bass and treble dial, as well as control. And we can also select inputs and source modes, which is really cool. So you have different modes for different things, and we can definitely test those out a bit later on. On the back, we have all the outputs, or actually, it's not only outputs. So we have LAN ports, which is actually 10 or 100 meg. We also got an import, so you can actually use this soundbar as a pass-through for your gaming console or some other device that you have. You have an eARC port here, so you can connect that to the TV. You also got an output for the USB Type-C with some power. You got the RCA, so if you wanted to connect something like a DVD player or a Bluetooth player or any other old equipment, which is rare nowadays, as well as you got sub out. So you're actually not limited to using their own equipment. You can actually use other equipment as well. And for the power supply, that's actually built into the unit itself. This unit comes with 11 speakers. So you have a few bass speakers, you've got full range speakers, and I'm really interested in checking out how it delivers. It's a 5.1.2 system, and I'm curious to see if it's gonna actually deliver a good performance without a separate subwoofer. So we're gonna set it up in the living room, test it out, and let you know what we feel about it. Now that we've spent meaningful time with the Marshall Heston 120, it's given us a clear sense of what it does well and where it asks just a little bit more of the user. The first thing that you'll notice, there is no remote. So if you want to change the sound modes or tweak the EQ mid-movie, you'll need to use the app or the dials on top of the unit. The dials themselves are great to use, with smooth travel, clear lighting and precise control over volume, bass and treble. But yeah, not having a remote does make quick changes a bit less convenient. During setup, the app actually surprised us. You can skip the whole create your account step, connect over Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and it immediately pushed firmware update. Once that was done, it asked if we wanted to link up the Google Home and enable Chromecast, which is a nice touch. It also ran quick room calibration. The process itself was very simple. Once all of that was complete, we switched over to the movie mode and tested it out. Heston really held its own here. Dialogue came through very clear and centered. It felt like the voices were coming straight from the screen, not from below it. The soundbar also showed it can dig deep when things got intense. Even without the subwoofer, the low end had proper weight, and the soundtrack filled the room nicely without losing clarity. In music mode, it does just as well. The soundstage feels wide, vocals sit right up front, and instruments are placed cleanly across the mix. Straight out of the box, it sounds balanced, nothing jumps out or feels overdone, which makes it great for everyday listening. The 3 user presets are also very handy. We set one for Spotify and another one to our favorite online radio station. Once they are all saved, you can switch between them directly on the bar as long as it's on the Wi-Fi, so no need to open up the app every time. The sound modes are also pretty well thought out. Night mode is subtle, it reduces the bass and dynamic headroom, so you're less likely to blow out the wall at 10 PM. There are also 3 levels, low, medium and high. On the high setting, it can actually mute some of the background music completely, so we chose to use low or medium for normal use. Voice mode, on the other hand, really lifts the vocals. It's great if you need that clearer speech, but it does make everything else sound a little thinner. Switching between modes isn't instant either. The app takes a few seconds to load each time, which makes quick toggling a bit slow. Connectivity is solid. You get HDMI eARC plus full HDMI pass-through that supports 4K at 120Hz, so consoles and streaming boxes can plug straight into the bar. There's also USB-C, analog RCA, a sub-out and even LAN port. Overall, it's what you would expect from a soundbar in this price bracket. Design-wise, it's unmistakably Marshall. The sleek weave across the top, the textured metal knobs, the classic logo, it feels straight out of their amp lineup. We originally thought that the fabric would be cat hair magnet, but after a few days of Nano claiming it as his spot, it actually stayed surprisingly clean. No real build-up, which was a nice surprise. It's also a big unit, just over a meter long, so you'll want a TV or a stand that can visually match it. Now over to the parts that aren't quite as strong. The Heston 120 does a great job with music and comfortably fills mid-sized room, but the Atmos height effect doesn't quite reach the level of full multi-speaker setup. You'll get a sense of space, just not true overhead wraparound feel. It's more like the sound is coming above the TV rather than surrounding it. The same goes for the low-end impact in big action scenes. It's solid, but not on par with the systems that have dedicated rears or subwoofer. If you lack the bass, you'll want to consider adding a sub in the future. And price-wise, you're definitely paying a little extra for the design and overall presentation. In short, the Marshall Heston earns its stripes as a stylish, high-performance all-in-one soundbar that equally serves movies and music. It does ask a bit more from the user, mainly through the app control and a setup that suits medium-sized rooms best, but it pays that back with a detailed, tactile and bass-rich sound. If you're after something that looks the part and sounds genuinely refined without chasing the full surround immersion, this one fits the bill. Thanks for watching. If you think this soundbar might be what you need, check out the link below for more details. As always, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next one.